Well, my name is Dominique, aka Monet Monet, and I am 24 years old. Currently live in Dallas, Texas, and I am 6 months pregnant. Technically 25 weeks, 24 plus 1, you get to 6 months. I've been wanting to do something like this since I found out that I was pregnant because I was in and still am in a very, very messy situation. And in today's world, I feel like on Facebook and social media and all these housewife shows that we see all these pretty pregnancies and we fantasize them and we pump them up and we give them a whole bunch of likes. Or it's the opposite. We see all these single moms and we're like, oh, okay, yeah, we knew that they were going to get pregnant. And secretly judge them in our head. But we don't see the real life picture, or we don't talk about the real life picture of what happens whenever you get pregnant and it's not pretty and you decide to still go through with it. I just started a new job to where I'm exhausted and my schedule just made it to where I wasn't going to be able to do this. But now that the world knows, because I did keep it a secret for a while, I call her my Anne Frank baby. But today I got a text from a young lady and she told me her situation, and at the end of it, I kind of realized that this is needed, and I'm going to read that to you guys. But along with that, I've been asked to speak on some people's blogs, just take part in some things, and so I see that the world is kind of calling and pulling me out into things that out of my comfort zone, and I might just be a little bit more tired, but I'm going to have to deal with it. So I'm not going to say her name, for her privacy, but I do want to explain the text and the situation that I did get today. I was dating this awful guy. I let him move in with me. He didn't work. He didn't help with the bills, e-tech. I told him that he needed to leave, and he wouldn't. So he broke my phone. He broke my windows. I called the cops. They didn't help. Less than a month later, another fight between us breaks out, and a kind of argument happens. He hit me, and he stole all my valuables, my PS4, my money, my military bags, my tablet. This all happened Friday, and I told him last week I was pregnant. I haven't told anybody else, though, and I'm just having a hard time deciding on whether or not to keep the baby. I want kids, I really do, but because of the fight, I'm at a high risk for the miscarriage, and I can't work at the moment, and he's just such a bad man. I just don't know what to do, and I've never really thought about it. I'd consider getting an abortion, but I'm really thinking about it, and I know God doesn't make mistakes. I just don't know if I can handle this all, and I don't want anything else to do with that bad man anymore. I've already had one miscarriage with my ex-husband. I really do want kids, but knowing that I might have to deal with this evil person for the rest of my life is horrifying, and just knowing that I'd be doing it all on my own is also scary. I just wanted to vent to you, and when I saw your post on Facebook, you look so strong and beautiful, and I just don't know if I can be that strong and courageous. And it really hurt me, and it really hit my heart today because I've known this girl for years. We grew up in church together. I never wanted to know that she was going through something like that. She has the sweetest heart. If you guys could see her smile, you know why it hurts as a friend. But on another level, I do have quite a bit of followers on Facebook, Instagram, e-tech. I've done modeling. I'm just a social person, a social networking connector. But for her to say, you look so strong, courageous, and beautiful, I had to let her know that this is real, and this whole thing has not been pretty. It has not been beautiful, and I feel like we allow the world to believe those lies sometimes because it makes us feel better. It makes us feel like we are, more of a celebrity. And so I wanted from the start to be very honest about this. I'm not one of those people to put everything on Facebook, which is probably why I do have such a following on there, because I am so private. But I did want the world to know, / I did want those girls to feel like they were not alone, because I know that is something that I felt from the start of my pregnancy, and I still feel very often to this day. And you're not alone, because the situation is the situation. So I'm just going to talk on different points about what I've personally gone through. I did graduate with a degree in psychology, but that does not make me a psychologist at all. But I just really want to be honest. I really want to be real, and that is my point of being here. So I'm going to start off with who I am and how this happened. I am that person that has been celibate multiple times over and over again. I don't like having sex with multiple partners. I just am more of an emotional person whenever it comes to sex. Unless I'm into it emotionally, I personally can't orgasm. My friends have always thought, especially being part of this younger generation, oh my gosh, you're so weird. Why can't you be, have one night stands? Like, why can't you, go out and party with us? Why do you always have to overthink, basically? And I just was that young kid that I couldn't. And so I usually am attached to one person at a time. And if I'm not attached to somebody, then I go through long bouts of not being with anybody. And so at this point in time, I was with what I like to call my best guy friend at the time, and still pretty much my best guy friend to this day. And we were pretty exclusive with each other. Like I said, we both are big on being safe whenever it comes to STDs, / we're just big on it has to be emotionally there. And so we had dated in the past before, but at this point in time, he was not ready to be an exclusive relationship, which I respected, and the sex was great, so we just continued to go along with things. So at this time, we're having sex, we're using the pull-out method, and I leave to go to North Carolina. And since we're not exclusive, I am a feminist. Let's go ahead and throw that out there. And also, too, I'm just very big on woman power. We have control over our bodies. We have our right to say what we want to do with our bodies. But also, too, let's throw in there that I'm a Christian. So there's just a big old ball. But it all gets explained down the road. And so I left to go to North Carolina. One of my favorite cousins is out there, and he loves hanging out with me because, like I said, I'm a social person, like to have a good time. I went out there for a wedding, and I got turned up, that's the least you could say, for the whole weekend. Very, very drunk, and this is the first time that I ever had a one-night stand. I don't mean first time like in a year, I mean like first time in all my 24 years of living, first time. And the person that I did it with had kids. This is my first time ever being involved with somebody who had kids, because for me personally in the past, since I didn't have kids and I didn't want kids at that point in time, it's just something that I, chose not to go into, which again, that's everybody's personal preference. I remember that night that I literally was talking shit to him the whole time about how he was just like definitely not the candidate I would ever go for, because, here he is just, doing a serving job, I like very go with the flow guys / people, because I kind of like to think of myself that way. And he had 2 kids, and I was like, and you want more at this time? Like, no, this is definitely not who I would go after. But literally, later on as the night went on, I had penis in my mouth, and my words were in my mouth, and my pride was in my mouth. And I was at my cousin's house. I had promised my cousin that I wasn't going to have sex on his couch. And because I was being prideful and did not want to go wake up my cousin to get the condom that I had out of the car, or to get the condoms that he had told me he had bought all weekend out of his room, I ended up having a situation where we had sex, and it obviously was unprotected. That was that. So I came back home to Texas, and after that, I was, looking for my period. Just because, like I said, I'm not that person to do off-the-chain type of things like this, / just jump off the charts with somebody new. And so I was looking for it, and so was my mom, because me and her are very close. And so whenever it came that week of my period to be there and it wasn't there, she was asking me, is your period here yet? And I told her, oh, no. It's coming. Which, again, I'm not that person. If I have sex and I have it unprotected, and especially if I have it with somebody new, I'm that person that goes and buys like 12 pregnancy tests and is taking them back to back to back to back, and just wasting a whole bunch of money even though I'm not pregnant, and then my period comes like one day late. That's me. But in the situation, that was day 3 of missing my period, and I told her, no, I'm okay, it's good, it's coming, blah, blah, blah. So by day 5, it is still not there. And I'm like, okay, this is the point where I have to start being honest with myself, because I probably was going through a little bit of denial. And funnily, I went to the dollar store to get my pregnancy test, which, side note, my ex, I'm bisexual. She's an Asian with a very, very big family, and I remember her back in my teenage high school days. She had always told me, I don't know why people waste money on pregnancy tests, expensive pregnancy tests, because my mom has 4, almost 5 kids, and she's always used dollar store pregnancy tests, and they've always been right. And let me tell you, they have. So that's one piece of advice I do have. Do not waste money on like expensive ass pregnancy tests whenever you can go to the dollar store, and trust me, they work. So went, got my pregnancy test, took it on day 5 of missing my period, and I remember I woke up in the morning, because again, I'm that person who follows the rules. By the way, graduated early from high school and from college, so let me not just like try to pump myself up as I'm just this great person. Like, I really am that person of just always being too hard on myself. And so I'm that person who follows the rules on the box, like note by note by note. Make sure you do your first in the morning pee, all that good stuff. And so I had to go to work that day. Woke up in the morning, took my pregnancy test in the bathroom, and as soon as I pee on it, it straight starts shooting to the positive sign. And I had never taken a pregnancy test in my life to where the results came that quick. Usually I'm sitting there like anxious. It takes about good 10-15 minutes, like however long it's supposed to take. This time my pregnancy hormones were obviously so high in my body that it's just going straight positive. And literally as it's going and it's transforming, I'm looking at the pregnancy test and I'm like, no, 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 no. I remember saying that out loud. I remember saying that in my head, and I remember freaking out. And as it comes along, I just look at it. I'm in shock, and I'm like, no, this can't be real. So what do? You take the second pregnancy test. And so did that, and same exact situation happens. And again, I'm like, no, 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 no. Like, my nose, you're going to make this whole positive thing stop. Does not stop. And as I see this one's turning into positive too, all I can do is just start crying. And I'm sitting upstairs, I'm bawling. And it's not like that cry of, oh, like I'm sad. It's, oh, like life-changing tears. So again, if that was you, whenever you found out you're pregnant, you are not alone. You're not crazy. You're not a horrible person. That's the real life situation. Even though this is something that a lot of people do want and they do try for, you are not a bad person if that was your reaction. And so, like I said, I had to go to work that day. I went downstairs, wiped my face, and my mom saw me and she said, what's going on? And I said, no, I'm just not feeling good. And she's like, no, like something's happening. Sit down. We're talking about it. And literally as soon as I sit down with her, all I can say is, well, Mom, I just took a pregnancy test, and then as soon as I even get the words pregnancy test out of my mouth, I just start bawling all over again. And she's like, calm down, calm down, calm down. I have to tell her the situation. And you can see in her eyes, being a single mother herself, that she was, partially disappointed. So she was partially sad, because I could see that she didn't want me to go through the same things that she went through, but at the same time, being the lovely mom that she is, she didn't say any of that. All she said was, we are going to take care of this. No matter what you decide to do or whatever decision you decide to make, we're going to be okay. You're going to be okay, and we're going to get through this. And I can say that having somebody there to say that, it was life-changing, and I don't know what I would have done if I didn't have somebody there to go through that with me, especially being somebody who has depression and anxiety and has dealt with self-harm in the past. So if you are that person and you haven't taken a pregnancy test, I do definitely recommend trying to possibly take it around somebody that can just be there for you, even if it's just a hug. Don't do it by yourself if you don't think you can handle the news that comes afterwards, whether it's you're pregnant, you're not pregnant, it is something that you want. And also too, I do want to dedicate this video to my mom, because she's always been the father figure in my life, because she has, like I said, been a single mom, and I could not love you more for that. But on top of that, in times like today, whenever I didn't have somebody to go with me to my sonogram, she has now stepped up to be the father in my daughter's life, and I'm beyond grateful for that too. She's not a perfect person. She is an alcoholic, which is something that we are going to talk about later on down the line. But she has been as nothing but supportive whenever she is in one of her good times, or whenever she is, going through a good phase and she is making healthy decisions. And so I am super, super, super grateful for that. So like I said, I had to go to work that day, and I had to buck myself up, get ready to go. And all I could think about is that I had a decision that needed to be made. And I just really wanted to point that out there, that whenever you find out that you're pregnant, it is a very real thing. It is not something that is always perfect. It is not, you're not always married. It's that decision itself, you cannot judge somebody until you're in the position yourself. So whatever your views are, again, like I said, I am personally a Christian. It's something that you will never understand until you are in the position yourself of having to make the decision that it's going to change your life for the rest of your life. I do remember for the rest of that day, I was in literally a numb mind state, because that's all I could think about, even though I was trying not to think about that, because it was going to stress me out. So I was going to overstress myself. I couldn't fix anything that day. But at the same time, my best advice out to that is keep yourself busy that day, because it's not the best day to make your decision. But at the same time, know that a decision does have to be made, and be ready to make that, but don't let it overwhelm you, because it's something that can consume you and that can eat you alive. And I think I did let it do that to me for quite a bit of time. And so today my friend asked me basically to help her with her decision, and after I'm done with this, I'm going to talk to her some more about it in depth. But I am doing this video because I am not the perfect person to help people with that decision. All I can do is tell you my experience, what I went through, and what I'm still going through. And hopefully that helps you, how do I say, vibe with, or just like, I don't even know, deal with what you're going through, because everybody has a different situation. And so maybe if you know that yours isn't so crazy, you can make a decision based on that. But I am going to talk about later on down the line how I did make the decision to keep my daughter. I am going to be very honest. I did not make that decision until like the 4th month. I was thinking about abortion until that far along. Judge me if you want to. Again, you cannot judge until you're in the situation. And I do want to talk about things like having 2 potential baby fathers, being on government assistance. I had never been on government assistance before the situation, and it can be an embarrassing thing. I do want to talk about dealing with addicts and support, because I have realized how much you have to have that in order to have a healthy pregnancy. I want to talk about eating disorders such as pregnorexia. I really do not like that word. We're going to talk a lot more about that later on down the line. Being a Black single mom, being a single mom period. Again, that's something, it's real, it's not pretty. I want to get into that. And dating. Even though you're pregnant, you're still sexy. There's still people that want you. It literally took me about 2-3 months for me to realize that, but it's still pretty awesome. I want to talk about being natural, whether it's medicine, food, a natural delivery. I personally do want to do a natural delivery, so all those types of things. Anxiety, religion, clothing, preparing for the baby, even if you're unprepared. In my situation, I understand, again. And working, because I was unemployed. Well, not unemployed. I had a part-time job. I was working for a catering company, but it wasn't stable. Got a full-time job, and it can be scary in today's world, because let's just face it, people don't want to hire you if you're pregnant. They will fire you, and again, you need benefits to take care of this baby. So that's just kind of the start. I'm going to do another video. I'm going to try to do at least one a week. Again, I'm just really trying to fluctuate it with this and be as comfortable / just flexible as possible. So I don't know how the structure of this is going to go. I probably will not look this pretty all the time. You caught me in a good day whenever I got makeup. But again, I just feel like, the discussion has to be out there, and the boards have to be open. So if you have any feedback, positive criticism only. If you're just talking some bullshit and some shit, I have plenty of people that in my life to do that already. Don't need that. Or if you're personally going through something yourself, like I said, we have to talk to each other because each other is all we have. That's it.